Recording in progress.
Okay. Great. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the National Youth Summit 2021. Hope you're safe and healthy in your homes. I'm Srishti Singh from the Center for Environment Education, and we have here with us Reet Malhotra from WWF India. Together, we are going to be your hosts for the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Reet, and I'm thrilled to be hosting the National Youth Summit 2021. Shrishti, do you know that over 157,000 youth have taken part in the Tide Turners Challenge in the third phase from our country?
Yes, Reet. Isn't that amazing? The Plastic Tide Turners Challenge is a global campaign of the United Nations Environment Programme currently being implemented in over 30 countries.
In India, the program is being implemented by Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF India, and Center for Environment Education, CEE, consisting of 3 levels: entry, leader, and champion level. Designed for individual as well as collective action, the challenge combined a range of activities for youth and institutions to learn, act, and lead.
And in 2021 itself, we have been able to conduct over 65 webinars in more than 12 languages. Also, we have had 35 plus partnerships all around India. To know more about how these young plastic warriors have inspired us with their commitment and actions to address the issue of single-use plastics, come, let's watch this video. Can we have the video, please?
Through this challenge, we learned about the negative impacts of plastic pollution in the environment. It also made us to feel better and make environment better.
Joining the challenge, I will be the part of an entire generation of young leaders who are changing the world one action at one time.
The challenge helped me realize the amount of waste I generated and inspired me to manage it.
The Tide Turners Challenge influenced and empowered me to take actions not only for my household but my community too.
TTC empowered me to take action because the very basic aim of this challenge was to acknowledge that we all have our individual plastic footprints.
plastic tide turner challenge has really sparked enthusiasm among young people. We don't want to get into a pandemic situation on plastics as well. And I think if all of us behave and act, even in these difficult times, I think we can overcome it.
मैं हिना कुमारी बीएन कॉलेज भागलपुर की गाइड हूँ। मैं शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं एकल युक्त पॉलिथीन बैग का उपयोग नहीं करूँगी और अपने परिवार एवं सहयोगी को भी प्रेरित करूंगी। मैं अपने घर, शहर, देश, प्रदेश और दुनिया को भी प्लास्टिक एवं पॉलिथीन की कठिनाइयों से बचाने के लिए भरसक प्रयास करूंगी।
The success of Tide Turner Challenge has been collaboration. The issues that we face today are enormous, and the strength to solve them will come when we are together. In WWF, we say #TogetherPossible.
That was inspiring, wasn't it? Kudos to our youth who made it possible with their enthusiasm and willingness to turn the tide. Now, coming to the event, let us share with our audience what our day would look like.
Of course, we are here for a very interesting day. Let me share in brief on how the event will look like. We will begin with an address by UNEP India, followed by addresses from UNEP, British High Commission, and the MOEFCC. Then we would hear from our partners, CEE and WWF India, about their experience with the challenge. After the break, we have stories of change from the youth icon themselves, who created a significant impact on the environment, followed by the stories of tide turners' impact. This would be followed by a special message by none other than Benny Dayal, the voice we all love.
I am sure you all are already filled with excitement, but that's not all. We also have an inspiring session with Dr. Sonam Wangchuk and Miss Dia Mirza. This will be followed by different perspectives from the Tide Turners Challenge, and then the grand award ceremony of honoring the Eco Clubs by MOEFCC and Tide Turners Champions by Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti. We also have a very surprise message from the Ministry of Environment. I'm keeping the state name secret just for now. So let's begin. To formally launch into the National Youth Summit, I request Mr. Atul Bagai, Head India Country Office, UN Environment Program, to address the audience. Mr. Bagai has been instrumental in the Ozone Action Program and many green procurement policies. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of UNEP India, I hope you all can hear me. On behalf of UNEP India, I would like to extend a very, very warm welcome to Rita Khanna ji from the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, my friend Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary Education from Assam, my colleagues Sam Barrett from Nairobi and Gayatri, and my whole team. Ms. Natali Choms, Chief Economist and Counselor from the British High Commission, respected Dr. Sonam Wangchuk ji, educationist and a reformer, and our UNEP Goodwill Ambassador, Dia Mirza, who has been our major inspiration for whatever we do in India. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to all the Eco Club coordinators and youth who have participated in the initiative from various states of India. Actually, you are the real heroes today. And I see the audience is quite large, beyond our expectations. And we are very thankful to all of them. I would like to set the context of this Tide Turners Plastic Challenge, which actually got inspired by the Prime Minister's clarion call to make India free of single-use plastic by 2022. And this announcement and this challenge actually inspired us to start and launch the UN Tide Turners Plastic Challenge in 2019. And since then, we have reached almost 330,000 youth all across the country. Not only in terms of sheer numbers, but also the quality of impact by the Tide Turner champions has been and TTC to all its eco clubs. And with MOEFCC aiming for setting up almost 7.5 lakh eco clubs in the next few years, I believe that these eco clubs can play a very, very important role in spreading the message amongst the youth. For session 4 of the TTC initiative will be mainly on increasing the participation from eco clubs, and with MOEFCC's support, will surely continue to be successful. I will be remiss if I do not acknowledge the efforts of our implementing partners, WWF India and CEE, Center for Environment Education. And I'm personally, and from UNEP, very, very thankful to Ravi Singh ji and Kartike Sarabhai for inspiring us and for leading this whole initiative as our trusted partners over the past 3 years. I would also like to mention that Radhika Suri ji of WWF has been also one of our inspirations in taking this whole initiative forward. I think the beauty and the appeal of Tide Turner's Challenge is that it teaches young people about the complex issue of plastic pollution in a learning by doing mode. And that's very important. As the students would pass from one level of challenge to another, they perform tasks which help them to comprehend the issue in a holistic manner. By the time they arrive at the championship level, they are able to arrive at possible solutions to a complex problem. Solutions that the whole world is looking for. And I think these young children are leading the way in this regard. I would like to end my speech with a quote from Professor David Orr, a well-known environmentalist and an environmental educator. And quote, is in rethinking what kind of education is appropriate for a species whose standards of success threaten its ecological foundation. I'm sure you'll agree with me that it is without a doubt most essential in addressing the triple planetary crisis of climate, nature, and pollution facing us today, and especially coming from a species that is threatening its own ecological foundation. I do feel that the Tide Turner's Challenge is a very good solution to addressing the whole environmental challenge that we are facing today. Thank you very much, and I wish this program a big success.
Thank you so much, sir, for those kind words and a warm welcome to all the participants. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Sam Barrett, Chief of the Youth Education and Advocacy Unit, UNEP. Mr. Barrett oversees the Playing for the Planet Alliance and also manages the Tide Turner's Challenge globally. He also leads the Youth and Education Alliance, which is a network of almost 800 universities from around the world. Over to you, Mr. Barrett.
Thanks, Shrishti. Always nice to see you. I love these events. I'm always blown away by what I learn from India, see in India, and just to have the chance just to listen is just a real privilege. But I think I just want to start with an important message, which is right now for young people, the future really is at risk. When it comes to COVID, the educational opportunities are being denied. I think the impact of climate change, the impact of the next generation will be very severe. But I also think for me, what we're seeing in the world is an inability to think long term. And so what we're not doing is paying down now to ensure that we have a safe environment for the future. So what this means is that I think that the policy making that we have right now is limited to 5-year terms, or is very shrunk by the immediate demands of the news cycle that gets ever shallower, as opposed to thinking about where do we need to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or 100 years. That's the future that we need to be working on. And so I do think the issue of intergenerational justice and helping young people have a voice, have power and agency is what brings me to work every single day. So I say that, and that sounds like it's not full of hope, but I'm more hopeful than ever. And what we're looking to do at UNEP is give young people a voice so their power and their agency can be heard. So plastics, I think, is a really interesting gateway opportunity for environmental leadership and stewardship. And that's what we think that the Tide Turner's program is looking to try and create. So plastic is something we touch every single day. And the stories we've heard of the girl at the university in India that brought the crocodiles back by cleaning a river, or the work we've seen in Bihar, where we start to see some new regulations being put in place around single-use plastic, show the power that young people have. And I think every single day you make a difference, and every single day you are changing the future for the one that we need. And the same is happening in 30 countries around the world. But India is just leading the Tide Turners program globally. I think you've got somewhere in the region of over 300,000 young people through the initiative. And what you're doing in India is truly special. But what we're looking to do now with the partners at CE and WWF and the Indian government, who are really doing some great work on this, is to see if we can not just take it to scale, but also to deepen the impact. So we've got a whole new level coming up called the Hero level, level 4, which we'll be building with a special India program that you'll hear about, I think, during the program today. But we're also scaling it up into the Pacific and the Caribbean. And those small island states will be hit very hard by plastic pollution. And we're looking to really work with governments to make this a core curricula as well. But what else should come next? And I think if Inga Anderson was here today, she would say something like, power is never offered to young people, it has to be taken. And so I think our message to you is take it. Use your power and own it. And our role here is to try and change the systems that we all work within. So in education, we're working with UNESCO and other partners to try and change curriculum. On campuses and universities, we're looking to try and nudge behavior, make them carbon friendly, and also bring nature back into universities. In the video games that many of you play, we're looking to put green activations in games. We've just launched yesterday the results of the Green Game Jam, which has got some brilliant games that are played by over 1 billion people doing things in play. We're doing the same in sport, and we'll be doing the same with youth movements where we think the power lies. So whether it's the Earth Tribe initiative with the Scouts or just building out Tide Turners, we're looking to do more. So I think our role is to give young people a platform and to give them the chance to be heard. And I think you have so many opportunities for leadership. And I want to thank the British government for their support in enabling the Tide Turners program to happen. But I would say my last message is, you have no boundaries in what you can achieve. The only limitation you have is your imagination. And what I'm looking forward to in listening over the next, I think, hour and a half is just to hear what you're thinking, what more we can do. So we at UNEP can be in service to your leadership and support that. So Shrishti, back to you. Thank you for giving me the chance to say a few words. And I look forward to listening to the rest of the discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett, and congratulations for the successful implementation of the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge globally. Next, we have a very special guest from the British High Commission, Ms. Natalie Toms, who is the Chief Economist and Counsellor and looks at the UK-India partnership from a climate action perspective.
Super, thank you very much, Shrishti, and thank you all for inviting me here again. This is one of my favourite events last year, and it's great to be back and back again as part of such a great lineup. Though of course the most impressive part of that lineup as ever is you, the Tide Turners yourselves. I'm always inspired by you, young people acting to make the world a better place. In this case, by taking practical steps to tackle this scourge, which is plastic pollution. And as a representative of the UK government, I'm also excited by the new developments since I spoke here in June 2020. It was fantastic to see at the recently concluded G7 summit that India committed support to a target to protect at least 30% of land and ocean globally by 2030. This is known as a 30 by 30 target. And the UK also supports this target. India has also now joined the High Ambition Coalition for Nature and People in support of this. And as the Oceans co-chair of the coalition, the UK is really delighted to have India on board. The UK and India are also working together on a significant number of initiatives where I think by acting together, we could be a real global force for good. Some examples include the Commonwealth Litter Programme, the India Plastic Pact, and the upcoming programme on twinning cities to tackle marine litter too. And we're also engaged in creative environmental awareness through education packs for teachers and students, printed in association with the Centre for Environmental Education. The UK is also leading on the Commonwealth Clean Oceans Alliance with Vanuatu, and we hope to welcome India on board with that in the near future. And last but by no means least, the UK government recently launched a £500 million Blue Planet Fund, which will help eligible countries reduce poverty, protect and sustainably manage their marine resources, and address human-generated threats across 4 key themes: biodiversity, climate change, marine pollution, and sustainable seafood. And I know that this is a very big passion of our Prime Minister, and look forward to working with you in India on it. But of course, to deliver on these bold initiatives, we don't just need kind of governments, officials like me sat in meetings agreeing things. We need the energy of youth, and it's fantastic to be working in collaboration with the UNEP and its partners, and with you, the next generation of leaders, to protect the ocean through the Tide Turners Plastic Challenge badge. In partnership with the CE and the WWF, UNEP has managed to engage over 330,000 young people in India alone, which is really quite a remarkable achievement, especially with all the challenges of the last year. So through awareness, education, action, advocacy, this challenge has not only encouraged people to take action and reduce plastic waste, but has encouraged you to become leaders in your communities. For example, I've been reading about the incredible work of Mansi Takar, who is with us and speaking later today, and her group, the Environment Conservation Youth Club in Gujarat, whose efforts brought back green sea turtles on the beaches to hatch their eggs. Platforms like Tide Turners provide us with an opportunity to connect to young leaders for future collaboration on environmental and climate action. And of course, one big climate action moment this year will be the summit held in Glasgow in November, known as COP26, which the UK government will be hosting. And that's going to be a brilliant opportunity for the whole world to come together and act to prevent dangerous climate change. India is a crucial partner in this effort, and we're working together really closely on areas from renewable energy to electric mobility in the run up to that event, as well as, of course, our building resilience through wonderful Indian-led initiatives like the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. I think India has an incredible opportunity to show the world the brilliant things which are happening here, especially in the space of renewable energy. The 450 gigawatts by 2030 target announced by the Prime Minister here has kind of caught the attention of the world, and we really enjoy working with India on that. But of course, this will go far beyond our presidency of COP26. Where we, the UK government, continue to work closely with the Indian government, but also with civil society, young people in India, and all other stakeholders to galvanise more action on climate change, and to help and to collectively accelerate our move towards a positive, sustainable, and a low carbon future.
Thank you, Ms. Toms, for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you and those kind words. Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Rita Khanna, Scientist G, who also takes care of the Environment Education Division at the MOEFCC. Welcome, ma'am, to the event, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Srishti. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by congratulating the UNEP, its implementing partners, state nodal agencies, eco clubs, and all participating youth for their active participation even during this pandemic. Let me also take this opportunity to express our happiness to be a partner for this unique initiative of UNEP, and also state that we are really impressed with the participation of state nodal agencies and eco clubs. As we know, like NGC, National Green Corp, is our flagship program. We have a network of 1.6 eco clubs all over India. We also believe through this program, we have a cascading effect, because by, when we are sensitizing them, we are sensitizing the society also. We would also like to inform you that in 2018, Ministry has initiated a social movement called Green Good Deeds for promoting good lifestyle for achieving environmentally sustainable lifestyles. Presently, we are also celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is a 75-week long program. And, we have involved our eco clubs for all our awareness programs. Ministry is having partnership with other collaborations, like for example, we are being collaborative with Swachh Bharat, Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat, and there are many other programs. Ministry in partnership with UNEP for this program will surely enhance and scale up the environmental awareness activity programs. Actually, this Tide Turner program fits very, very well with the Green Growth Initiative. It is also helping to promote simple steps which can tackle the issue of plastic pollution. It's very important that environmental education should be accessible both to rural and urban India. I believe that this can be achieved through, support of our nodal agencies, eco clubs, and stakeholders. The pilot run, which is there for Eco Club participation, I've been told, we are really happy to note that there are 1049 Eco Clubs which have participated in this pilot. Youth from all Eco Clubs, everybody is participating despite the fact the pandemic is going on. This is a great achievement. We are really thankful to our state nodal agencies for their commitment, for their passion, which have contributed to success of this initiative. We hope many more SNAs would also join in this race against this plastic pollution. We are also thankful to both the implementing partners, CE and WWF, for bringing out their source material and conducting several workshops throughout this program. This mission will succeed if everybody does their own bit. I would like to end by stating, let this not be a number game. Let it be a mass movement, like when, we have no boundaries. My, other speaker mentioned, let there be not any boundaries. Let it be like a mass movement. With this, I thank you all for inviting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your invaluable insights. Shrishti, I have a question. How was the Tide Turners Challenge so successful even in these challenging times when we were all confined to our homes?
That's a great question, Reet. And let me share. It has been an eventful journey for all of us working with the youth and educational institutions virtually. And to shed some light on this journey, I would like to invite our two partners, Ms. Radhika Suri, Director, Environment Education, WWF India, and Ms. Madhvi Joshi, Senior Program Director, Center for Environment Education. Over to you, Radhika and Madhvi ma'am.
Yeah, thanks, Rishi. Thanks, Reet. A very good afternoon, everybody. And I feel very, very nostalgic today. I just remember the conversation of Tide Turner in India with Sam and Karthikeya. And today, look, we are here today with the third phase done and dusted, and so beautifully. So I feel nostalgic. I feel deep gratitude for UNEP to have come up with the idea, to have trusted CE and us with this project, and to have also, given us immense support on the way. And also, I feel a sense of pride. This has been in spite of a pandemic, and like Sam did mention, India makes them proud. Well, in spite of a pandemic, we'll take some credit as partners. We innovated. We tried new things together. Madhvi and will also smile at this, that we fought also as partners, good partners, but we made up as good partners too. So it's been phenomenal. 2019 on ground, 2,500 leaders from 8 states, influenced 48,000, peers. And look at us today, we are over 300,000. So it has absolutely scaled. It's scaled with quality, with passion. And what is so beautiful about what's happened with Tide Turner is it's taken different, it's always tried to get better and better. And what's really exciting me about the next phase and what's happening is we're looking at these leaders, not just saying, yay, you're great leaders and stopping it there. We're taking it forward. We are looking at skilling them, and we're looking at actually teaching them, how do you do advocacy? How do you actually do things? So it's so constructive. So it's a movement plus. And super proud of it and very, very happy to continue this partnership
with UNEP. And thank you, CE, for everything. And hope we continue and make a huge change in this world. So that's all from me. And I think so we must hear the youth soon. So over to you, Madhvi.
Thank you, Radhika, and thanks, Srishti and Reeth. And it's wonderful. It's been really, really wonderful to be a part of this journey together. And it's been innovation and adapting to the changing times all the way. And I think because of the kind of partnerships we've had, and it has been possible for us to do that, and with a lot of encouragement from UNEP to go with it. I thought I'll just also talk a bit more about the Eco Club model that we introduced this year. And it was all thanks to the interest and partnership and support from the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. And through the NGC model, there is already a very strong network of eco clubs in schools across the country, as Rita ji said. And having Tide Turners introduced to this network actually leveraged the wonderful work that the eco clubs are already doing. It also helped us reach the remote areas and work with schools in rural and urban areas, government schools and others. That was to a challenge that was completely digital. It did have a challenge in terms of, how do you work with digital in a digital mode when there is difficulty in terms of access and connectivity and so on. The state nodal agencies of the NGC have been phenomenal, and they were so supportive and so passionate about what this challenge would achieve with their students. And we've had a lot of wonderful stories coming in from what the Eco Club students have done at home, as the schools were not functional at that point in time. So therefore, they were bringing about a change at their level within their homes, in their communities, and actually really, really bringing about a big difference in the way Tide Turners has impacted also the way they were doing their programs and thinking about it. The other group, the model that also has evolved along with the eco clubs, is the group model, which has involved scouts and guides, and also college groups of youth who have made a big difference. And that is something that we would like to acknowledge and feel that this is another way in which we can actually get a lot of young people really joining in as individuals and as part of groups, and to bring about the change that is desired. There were some challenges in terms of language and digital barriers, but yes, we innovated, we adapted, and we overcame them through this a lot of hand-holding that the SNAs did for the students. We also have further translated the handbooks and material, which was made available on the website, and did a lot of trainings where required. So it has been an exciting journey, and thank you WWF and UNEP for working together, and enjoyed this partnership, and look forward to working with you all again and for the next phase. Thank you.
Now that provides us with a good glimpse of the scenario behind the scenes. Thank you for this, Ms. Suri and Ms. Joshi.
Shrishti, what do you think about young people who are coming up with their unique ideas and astonishing willpower to work towards restoring the environment?
Reet, I really think youth is the biggest asset of any country, especially India, to bring in the change and make a positive impact towards various causes. Here, we have some incredible stories of impact from youth, which will inspire us to no end.
For this, we have with us Malhar Kalambe and Shashank Bhosle. Malar Kalambe is a youth advocate leading community participation. 23-year-old Malar is already a youth icon who has already embarked on a mission to make the beaches of Mumbai cleaner and free them from single-use plastic waste by launching an initiative, Beach Please, setting an example for the youth of the country. Kalambe's initiatives have won him plaudits from all quarters and has also been facilitated by the United Nations Environment Programme for his initiatives. Not only this, several people have joined hands with him to make Mumbai a cleaner place.
Also, along with Malhar, we have an awe-inspiring story of individual action by Mr. Shashank Bhosle. As an avid cyclist, Shashank has been doing his endurance and BRM rides during lockdown. But this year, he wanted to make it matter even more. In January 2021, he rode more than 1,000 kilometers across Goa and cycled his way through the dense forests, the Western Ghats, to different islands of Goa. But wherever he rode, one thing always bothered him: face masks, the new litter bug. Let us hear what he did to get off the litter bug. Also, without forgetting to moderate this session, we have with us the very talented Shritika Mutta, our tide turner champion. Over to you, Shritika.
Thank you so much, Srishti ma'am. So good afternoon, people. As we know that the world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today, without taking much of your time, I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our special guests, Mr. Malhar Kalambe and Mr. Shashank Bhosle. Hello, Malhar sir. Hello, Shashank sir. Today we are quite honored to have you both here with us right now. So, Malhar sir, starting with you. Firstly, we are quite pleased to know that your beach plastic initiative has been able to remove over 1,000 tons of waste from the shores till now, and you have been able to successfully create that impact and gave us a lesson that, okay, we as an individual also have some degree of responsibility towards our planet, and we can't keep on blaming our governments for that. So all of us over here want to know that how did you get this idea of conducting such beach cleanups, and what kind of motivated you to lead this change? Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's my honor to be a part of this summit. This journey started back in July 2017. You know, I'd been to Bali, Indonesia for a vacation. And I stay at a place called Dadar in Mumbai, where we have a very beautiful beach called the Dadar Beach. When I came back from my vacation, I was just strolling on the beach one day during the Ganeshotsav. And as you know, the Ganeshotsav festival is very popular in Mumbai. The state in which I saw the beach was really very disturbing for me. You know, I had a question that, why is there a difference between the beaches in Mumbai and the beaches abroad? And I went back home. I was having a regular conversation with my mother. And I told her that, I was complaining basically about the whole beach situation, that the beaches aren't clean and they are so dirty with plastic pollution. There's something she said that really motivated me to do the cleanup drive. She said that if you think the beaches aren't clean, just go and clean it. It's that simple. And that was something that really motivated me to go and, do a cleanup drive. So I called up my school friends. I told them about the whole idea of cleaning up a beach. I got a good response from them. So for the first cleanup drive, there were 20 of my friends who turned up for the cleanup drive. It was basically a school reunion. And, I thought that, I would clean the beach once and it would stay clean forever. But then when I came back the next day at the beach again, I saw the beach was dirty again. And that's when I thought of, doing these weekly cleanup drives. And the next Sunday, the number of volunteers dropped down to 4. And that's when I realized, if I want to keep doing these cleanup drives, I'll have to get in more people for the cleanup drives. And it's been 4 years now. We've conducted more than 350 cleanup drives, engaged more than 110,000 citizens, and cleaned more than 5,000 tons of garbage through our initiative over a period of 182 weeks. So I think what started as a school reunion has now turned into a national youth movement. And I'm very happy, that so many people have really believed in the whole idea of beach cleanups. There are certain people who criticize the whole cleanup movements that, they say that the cleanups aren't sustainable. If you clean the beach today, the beach is going to be dirty back tomorrow. I completely agree to what they say. But, I look at it as a very effective tool of sensitizing people. You and I can sit here and talk about plastic pollution and a lot more other things. But unless we don't go to the beach and clean the waste ourselves, take out the plastic ourselves, we will not realize how difficult the problem is. And that's what we're planning to do is, make people aware about the whole plastic pollution problem and get them to participate with us and contribute towards a better society. Over to you.
That's truly inspiring. And so whatever you are doing and you have done so far is really, really commendable. And I also totally agree to the fact that people can work at their personal capacities to make a difference if they want to. And this is something which I've personally realized after being a type turner champion, that it starts with oneself. And even the smallest of the action matters, and it does create an impact. So that is absolutely great. So Shashank sir, now coming to you, I believe more or less both of you have a similar concern, similar kind of thought process, and similar kind of fire to make that change happen. But since both of you have a different journey, I want to ask you, sir, that so during this pandemic, when everyone was just busy in self-protection, you on the other hand thought something different. You exposed the darker side of the environment. You decided to get on the streets, ride solo, and collect the masks. So we want to know that what was the thing which inspired you to do the cycle tour during the pandemic, and was there any particular reason for the route you chose to cycle on? Shashank, sir, over to you.
Yeah, Shritika. Yeah, thank you. Yes. So it all started, post the first wave of the pandemic when actually things opened up and everybody that time wanted to be fit and build their immunity and to fight the virus. So everyone had their own ways. And for me, it was always running and cycling, where I always wanted to be a go-to activity to remain fit. So I started running in my neighborhood. And while running along the roadside, I used to always observe something which I had never observed before. I started observing a lot of littered masks along the whole stretch. And most of these littered masks were, single-use masks, which you call them a surgical mask. And at times we have even the N95 mask, which were found over there. At the beginning, what I used to do is like how when you encounter cow dung over there, you jump over there. Similarly, I used to avoid those masks and I used to jump over them and finish my run. But later on, I started to observe this litter mask almost everywhere. And I am sure almost whoever is over here right now, we have around 900 of us present over here. Every must have seen mask litter wherever they have gone out. And I agree that even most of you all, it's not easy to pick up that litter mask and put it into a bin like you normally do with a plastic bottle. It's very difficult. We always were concerned about yourself that you will carry the virus for you or you take it back home. So I observed this mask, different running route. I got curious. And I did search and I found out that it's not only a problem here, it's a global problem. Many people have seen this litter mask at different places, be it the shopping malls, be it the basements, be it the beaches. It's actually an ecological time bomb. And many environmentalists were actually concerned. And the reason behind this is that these masks which you wear, they are made of multiple plastic fibers and primary, you can say polypropylene. And these masks remain in the environment for decades and possibly for centuries. So even if we are not here on this planet, your mask used today is going to be there and found somewhere deep into the oceans also. And these masks actually, end up into water bodies and seas at times. And just not end up over there. They actually, turn down to small, tiny fragments, or you can call them microplastics or nanoplastics. And there's a study in the Environmental Advances Journal that these single masks release around 173,000 microfibers per day into the sea. Yes, you heard it right. 170,000 microfibers per day they release into the sea. And these microplastics enter the food chain through the fishes. And then if you consume, then this microplastic ends into the humans. And then, it could be carcinogenic. So that's a very scary situation which is there. And there's another study which says that around 3.4 billion masks are discarded into outside globally per day. Can you imagine that? And people say that by 2050, there are going to be more plastic into the ocean than the fish. We are all aware how to use the mask. We all see ads, we see news, we see we should have your nose protected, we should have everything protected, but we don't know what to do to discard them or how to dispose them or what is going to happen if we discard them and where it's going to end up finally. The basic thing is even the strings which are attached to the mask are risk to the biodiversity. There are many birds whose legs have got attached to these strings and they die because of that. So that's the environment impact we are actually not aware of. So just to, we keep ourselves at the center of everything. So make people aware. What I started doing is I started documenting this. I started clicking pictures. and I started sharing it on social media sites. I started making people aware of the problem. I started having discussions with people. And also, as we have a cycle, which I also love cycling. I started cycling to many distances. For example, I went through the Western Ghats. I selected routes so where we have the beach stretch. I went through tourist places. I also went to one of the Goa's biggest island, that is the Shorav Island, and it has a beautiful Salim Ali mangrove ecosystem. So I have been there also. So everywhere where I went, I found this discarded mask. I picked them up. I used to carry my backpack. I used to put them into the backpack, and I used to get it back home and then discard them safely. And this way started in January, and the whole journey in total was around 1,000 kilometers. And I picked up this mask and also made a small, tiny 1-minute film of this about my environmentally conscious fitness trend, which I shared it on social media. And the message was very simple over there. So if you are done protecting yourself, please protect the environment. That was the message in short. Chitika.
That's really amazing. By the way, sir, if you look at another side, I feel that when humans were locked inside their homes, the Mother Nature was actually rejoicing. And I guess this pandemic is a signal telling us to stop the overexploitation of our planet. Anyway, sir, coming back to our talk, Shashank sir, if I look at your journey, it has been a pure solo journey, like a one-man army. You decided something and you did it. But on the other hand, Malaz sir, if I look at your side, you have many people joining your initiative, and you have repeatedly highlighted the importance of awareness, importance of public participation, and you've always believed that as a citizen, just paying taxes is not enough. We have to step out and we have to get our hands dirty if we wish to see some serious, significant change. So, sir, what do you think? Like, what is the power of youth-led, community-based initiatives? Over to you, sir.
I've always personally believed that individuals' actions have a larger impact, in terms of creating a policy. I'll give a very small example. In 2018 June, the government of Maharashtra banned single-use plastic in the state. It's been 3 years now, and we still find single-use plastic on the beaches, on the roads, or in the forest, which means that there is a policy which has banned the single-use plastics, but the citizens are not helping the authority implement those policies, which means as citizens we are lacking somewhere. India is the largest constitution in the world, and what does the constitution mean? Democracy means participation with the government. And how often do we participate with the government? I think once in 5 years when we cast our vote. I think most of us don't even do that. So I think democracy does not only mean going out and voting in 5 years. It means participating with the government on a daily basis. I'll give you a very quick example. Often we spot potholes on the roads. What do we do when we see them? Probably we complain, we crib, and we move on. Do we call up the concerned authority and inform that, that we have spotted a pothole? Please come and fix that. We don't do that. You take the example of Mumbai. We have a population of around 2.53 crores, and there are hardly 1 or 2 lakh the employees of the municipal authority taking care of the city. You do the maths, it's inadequate, which also means that as citizens, we have to work with the authorities. We have to work with the governments to, make any policy or any initiative, prosper. And I think it's the citizens who make a nation good or bad. So I think it's up to us, and that's what I'm trying to do through my initiative. Like if you see the volunteer base of my campaign, it's basically school students and college volunteers. And as young people, I believe that the young people are the real change makers who can change things around. And that's what we're planning to do: is create more eco warriors, create more young change makers, and make them aware about the whole plastic problem that we are facing right now.
That's absolutely correct. We totally agree to it. And all I can say is more power to you, sir. Lastly, Shashank, sir, we want to know that according to you, how important are the individual actions, and what do you feel that how such initiatives can bring about some change in the society?
Yes, Shritika, as it is rightly said, as rightly said at one of the UN climate change summit, that we are the first generations to feel the impact of climate change, and the last generation that can do something about it. So it is us, we have to take it, in our hands and to make the difference right now. And actually the youth can play an active role in protecting, be it starting from their homes, the schools, or the different organizations, the youth organizations they are part of, and how to be more eco-friendly. And in the past few years, you have observed that many such youths have come forward, voicing out, and trying to put that pressure on these policy makers to make that change. try to, like how Malar explained right now. So that's a youth who should come forward and try to notice, point out that this is the mistake which is happening. There are many people who are trying to be a part of the Youth for Climate Action, Fridays for Future. So there are many people who are voicing it out. So I want the youth, to read more about the issues, make them aware of selves, what is happening around, and also to know about the different SDG targets, that is Sustainable Development Goal targets, and why India is ranked 117 right now out of 190 countries who have signed the impact. What can we do to get our levels up? Which SDGs are we lacking behind? So this, we have to be aware of things. The youth can empower and take us in front. So it's up to them to take us further for these generations.
Right, sir, correct. So yeah, thank you so much. Thanks to both of you for joining us today and sharing your truly inspiring journeys. And I'm sure that all of us, especially the young generation who has joined us today, has a lot of takeaway from here. So once again, thank you so much. This is Shritika Mutta signing off. Hope you all had a great time till now. And I wish you even enjoy the second half of the event as well, because we have a lot of exciting things lined up. So stay here and enjoy the program. Over to you, Srishti ma'am.
Thank you, Shritika. And those stories really motivated a lot of us, including me. Shashank and Malhar, thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you to our champion, Shritika, for moderating the session. Hope you all keep leading the change.
Now that we have heard about the inspiring stories of young people, it's time to acknowledge the incredible role of our own Tide Turners champions in the activities. For this, I would like to call upon Ms. Gayatri Raghava, Environment Education Consultant, UNEP.
Hi, good afternoon to you. And we had a wonderful session just before. We heard from two young people who've done wonderful things, cycling and cleaning and whatnot. Now it's time for us Tide Turner champions to know what they have done. Remember, Tide Turner champions has been setting each year, we are increasing the number by more and more. Each year, we are increasing the milestone. But again, remember, it's just not about the numbers. It's about the quality. It is about changing perceptions. It's about changing mindsets. For our youth participants, it's about creating a plastic-free world. So the sheer range, when you look at the kind of projects that have come up in this Tide Turner Champions, the sheer range of program takes your breath away. These programs range from making a change, spreading awareness, or in fingers and lakes to bring our biodiversity back, alternatives to plastic. So now I'm going to introduce you to my favorite people. Meet the two brothers, Syed and Moez. These two sibling innovators, they actually diverted 3,000 plastic cups from entering into an environment or creating pollution by just making plastic cups out of flour of a cereal and then distributing it. Great going, both of you. And again, meet Roshan. Roshan is a young entrepreneur. He's a scientist and he's a researcher. He's trying to make thermofuel out of plastic. And he hopes to make sand blocks, sand bricks, and so many things. Way to go, Roshan, and way to go, Syed and Moez. You guys are truly innovators. Can we go to the next slide, please? And now, my favorite girl, Roshali. Roshali has done wonderfully well. She uses the social media to her advantage. She reached out to 28,000 people and tried to change them to use the menstrual cup or what we call as eco-friendly pads. She just didn't use the social media to shout across, but she ensured that 500 of people followed her actions through. Roshali, very well done. And kudos and bravo to the Bihar Bharat Scouts and Guides. You guys totally rock. These Scout and Guide, 1,800 of them went around and then they not only cleaned, spread awareness, made pledges, did everything, but they got after the Bihar government and wrote letters and letters and letters to them asking Bihar government to actually ban the single-use plastic disposable products. And you know what? The government actually did. So this talks to you about the policy change that these people can bring about. The next slide, please. Now meet our very, very young 7th grader, Jay. Now this guy is he went all around educating people, 3,000 people he educated. Whoever says that only adults can be teachers, it tells you students can be better teachers, because he went around and he made sure that he spread the message of plastic in a very clear, loud, and a very sharp manner. Well done, Jay. And then meet Jayadeep. This young man went around to beach in Mahua, Gujarat, and started doing cleanup drives with his friends. He actually, what he did, he not only cleaned up, he collected 4 tons of plastic waste and he turned them into 200 eco bricks. Now, we keep talking about circular economy and all of that. Now, I think this young man is going to become one big expert on circular economy, because he just knows not only to clean, but how to use it and how to make a better product out of it. So well done, Jayadeep. And then the next warrior, we should not forget teachers, because it is these eco club coordinators who've reached out to so many eco clubs. They're really magnificent. Normally, it is these eco club coordinators who are the motivated, the committed people in the school who drive all environmental actions in their school. So Miss Das has actually reached out, and she's a very serious lady. By the way, you can see her on the social media as well, talking away. She holds discussions with environmental organizations, with government authorities, with whoever that she can to influence change. So way to go, Miss Das. And then meet 2 other, Mitali and Ivan. These two people from Eco Club in Mumbai, Andheri, they've done wonderfully. What they did, they collected 1,800 kilograms of plastic bottle. And they collected those bottles, they connected with the recyclers, ensured that it is recycled. In addition, they surveyed about 600 people just to know what makes people take. Why do people keep still using plastic? Why can't they stop? So way to go. I think these Eco Club coordinators are beacons of light. They've really taken their students, forward in environmental action. So, but remember, the stories of impact don't end just here. This year, we've had more than 6,000 plus champions. So if I start telling their stories, this webinar would go on for days and days and days. I think we should just publish a good book about them and write about their aha moments and aha stories that they have to tell. Thank you, all of you, and thank you to everyone, CEE for guiding, WWF for conducting workshops, every one of you. You've all done your bit, and we can see the result on the ground. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Raghava, for sharing the work of the Tide Turner champions. Shrishti, are you now ready to hear from one of the most versatile and amazing voices of our country?
Of course, Reed. And for that, we have a message from Benny Dayal. Benny is an environmental enthusiast who has been an active part of various environmental campaigns and wildlife conservation activities. He is also one of the singers of India's wildlife anthem. So everyone, let's hear what message Benny has in store for us.
Hi, this is Benny Dayal here, and talking about environment today. I have been a part of a lot of environmental campaigns right from school. I studied in Abu Dhabi Indian School, and I've been a part of the Prakriti Club, where we did a lot of projects, especially to do with wildlife. And I'm so proud that all my life I've been a part of wildlife projects. We did a study on mangroves, and we did study on the amount of species of birds that existed in UAE, and we did submit a project, and we won the best environmental project in UAE. When we were studying in school, it was a great project that we had been a part of, being a school kid and being guided by the best teachers in our school. I also happened to sing the wildlife anthem alongside Vishal Dadlani, Sunidhi Chauhan, Shreya Ghoshal, which was headed by Dia Mirza and the United Nations, and I was so honored to be a part of it. And that's another great honor I've had in my life. And also being a part of turtle walks in Chennai. When I was studying in Chennai, it was a walk from Nilankare beach to Besanagar beach, and where we collect eggs from the turtle nest of the olive ridley turtle and take them to the hatcheries, because most of them don't survive that easily. And also to talk about plastic to all the youth out there, I just want to tell you guys that there are so many ways to beat plastic, especially starting from when you wake up in the morning with a toothbrush. If you can move from plastic toothbrush to wooden toothbrushes, it would be much better, so that our consumption of plastic is reduced, and avoiding plastic bottles and many other things, and so on and so forth. But I wish you all the best, and please help this planet revive from the amount of plastics that we consume and we use.
Wow. Wasn't that amazing? Thank you so much, Benny, for such an electrifying message.
Now, it's time for some real life inspiration. And for this, I would like to invite none other than Dr. Sonam Wangchuk, an Indian engineer, innovator, and education reformist. Mr. Wangchuk is the founding director of the Students' Educational and Cultural Movement of Ladakh as part of the Himalayan Institute of Alternatives. He is also known for designing the Sekmol campus that runs on solar energy and uses no fossil fuels for cooking, lighting, or heating. We saw a little glimpse of it in the movie Three Idiots. Dr. Wangchuk was instrumental in collaborating with the government, village communities, and the civil society to bring reforms in the government school system in Ladakh.
With Dr. Wangchuk, we have Ms. Dia Mirza to share her words of motivation. Dia Mirza is an actor, producer, UN Secretary General's Advocate for Sustainable Development Goals, UNEP's Goodwill Ambassador, Ambassador for Wildlife Trust of India, Artist Ambassador for Save the Children, Board Member, Sanctuary Nature Foundation, and the Global Ambassador for IFAW. We would also like to welcome Ms. Shreya Rai, who is the founder of Shashakt Bharat Initiative and a National Geographic Young Explorer, to moderate the session. Over to you, Dr. Wangchuk, Dia, and Shreya.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So much for having us. I was here last year and it was a fantastic experience, and I'm very excited about this year as well. Mr. Wangchuk, it's an honor to be with you on this.
Once again, earlier we met in Jaipur, I think.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And Shreya, thank you so much for moderating this session. It's an honor. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Today, what I would like to say is that this is a very crucial and timely conversation on the need, and dare I say, urgency to empower youth for environmental action. My name is Shreya, and it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak to two experts who have carved a niche for themselves in the field of environmental action, advocacy, and have truly led by example. Before I start this conversation today, I will encourage our participants to post their questions on the chat, and we'll take a few questions towards the end of our conversation. Without further ado, I welcome Dr. Wangchuk and Ms. Mirza. And my first question to both of our panelists really has to do with this idea of facilitating a collaborative ecosystem to make young people stakeholders and partners for environmental action. My question to the both of you is, why is it and how important is it to celebrate young people and their identity as solution seekers and champions for the world we're trying to build?
You must start, Mr. Wangchuk.
Okay. So I think for young people, it is very important that not only for coming up with solutions, often young people may not be able to come up with grand solutions, but it is very important for us and the whole ecosystem to nurture them, to bring them forward and upward so that they become a part of the solution, even if they don't come up with a solution. It is very important that they are involved at very early stage so that later as they grow up to become citizens, they are on the solution side of the line, rather than, in this case, we could say the pollution side of the line. Yeah? So to do that, we better involve them early, even if they may not come up with amazing big solutions. They may very well, some of them, but it should not be a criteria, how successful or useful their participation is. Just the participation is the spirit, and that makes them sensitized towards the issues. And somebody who's sensitized early cannot be on the wrong side later. Thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Wangchu. Thank you. You make a very important point there, and I'll get Ms. Mirza into the conversation. Ma'am, there is consensus that we need to build back better for a better tomorrow. How important is it, according to you, to involve, empower, and engage younger generations as champions to support and lead environmental action initiatives?
I think Dr. Wangchuk said something very important. He touched upon sensitization. And I feel like the biggest strength that I have discovered in young people in India and across the world is the fact that they have a very strong sense of empathy. They're a lot more alive and awakened to the world than perhaps grown-ups are. I think elder people tend to kind of I don't know, kind of blindside a lot of issues because there's just so much happening, and I guess it's a coping mechanism. But when you're younger, your ability to see, feel, think, and respond is far more sharper. And it is this very quality of empathy and the sense of creativity and wonder that children have that has led to so many solutions. And I feel and I can speak even for myself here, if it wasn't for my school and the active participation that we as children had, starting out with interacting with nature, and then, of course, discussing, discovering, and kind of working towards solutions to the problems that we were experiencing right from childhood. I think it is that very quality that has driven and kind of driven my action even in my adult life. And I see many young children, including my nephews and nieces, and hopefully someday my own child, making better choices as individuals because of the crisis and the pollution that they're exposed to, gaining a better understanding of the conflicts that exist, the problems that exist, and emerging as seekers of solutions because of that exposure and that deeper understanding of the issue. And we have incredible champions in India and across the world today who are really leading the narrative on environmental action and activism. And I think this is very important because when children speak, grown-ups listen. And especially when children speak the truth, it really hits hard and it hits home.
Absolutely. So I think you've made a very important point about, utilizing one's experiential knowledge. And I think I would just build on that and get Dr. Wangchuk into the conversation here. So when we're talking about addressing climate change proactively, do you feel there's an urgent need also to, let me put it this way, decentralize the conversation, make it more contextual, make it relevant to the context that we come from, and in that sense, celebrate our local champions and support practical solutions that are happening on ground? What is your take on that?
Absolutely. I think it is always much more sustainable in the long run if it is happening everywhere, even if small or big, but in a decentralized way where every city or village or locality has its own initiatives, has its own champions. Actually, we are mostly living in democracies today, most parts of the world. And in democracy, it is the people's priorities that get reflected in the government. And government has all the resources and power to make policies. So if it is not decentralized down to the last voters, it will remain as some few, elite speaking about it, but not policy changes. Governments do not listen to some celebrities and make their policies. They listen to all the voters that could reward or punish them in the democratic way as they do. So only when the voice becomes of all the people down to villages and localities, then it sends a strong message to governments of the world that it is in their, even in their vested interests, to take the right policies, because there are leaders and there are leaders. Those who are enlightened and want to take initiatives, they cannot afford to take good initiatives if their people are not enlightened. Even if the leader is enlightened, often they are unable to make good policies. So it helps good leaders to make good policies without losing support when it is decentralized down to all the people. And bad leaders cannot afford to continue with their status quo if the people are enlightened and they know what is in their interest. So even if the leader is not enlightened, if the people down to the last voter, as I keep saying, is enlightened, they cannot afford to stay away from the main discourse like this. So it is very, very important that we do not keep it in the drawing rooms of certain circles of society and make it an issue of everyone.
Absolutely, sir. I think that's a very important point about how environment, sustainability, these are conversations that are happening in silos. But I think young people today who are champions are breaking those silos and are leading those conversations and taking it to their communities. And that is a brilliant change that we're seeing. Ms. Mirza, I'll bring you in here. As the UN Goodwill Ambassador, have you come across young change makers or innovative solutions that young people are leading that have really inspired you and your journey?
Of course, Shreya, let's start with you. I think what Dr. Wangchuk was referring to is exactly what you exemplify. You are through your work, through the system and the efforts to educate people, are trying to achieve sustainability in policy. And it is the young people who continue to inspire me. I think Dr. Wangchuk touched upon another very important point that we actually don't talk enough about how unless and until environment and the climate emergency becomes a part of the electoral process, which means that every last voter has to cast their vote based on the, the work that governments are doing to protect nature, and to kind of ensure sustainability. I think that should be a very important reason to vote for or not vote for a particular government or leader. So I think young people can make a big difference in inspiring that electoral to ensure that we vote for change makers, for leaders who are working on the climate, who are working for nature. Young people that have inspired me, of course, I think we're right here amidst 6,000 champions who are tide turners, who are the kind of leaders and the kind of kids who are going to not just inspire each other, but generations to come with the kind of work that they're doing, right? Because it is their engagement and their work that is bringing about change, even if it is one home at a time. I've interacted with some phenomenal kids who have, started things like door-to-door collection of waste, have set up waste recycling centers in their localities, are not just segregating waste, and therefore, of course, ensuring that people and households are segregating at source, also reducing their consumption of plastic, but at the same time, creating networks and systems where all of the other waste that they collect from homes is, delivered to the right centers, and it becomes a resource and kind of becomes a part of the circular economy. There are children within, in the age groups of 6 and 14, 6 to 14 who are doing this. And I think that's phenomenal. And we're seeing this number grow. I was just listening to the citations that Gayatri ma'am was reading out of our young champions today. And I was so impressed with what Syed and Moez are doing, what Roshan Saxena is doing, what Rushali is doing, what the Bharat Scouts and Guides have done by, ensuring that single-use plastics have been banned in Bihar. I just want to put one thought out there that while we've achieved to ban single-use plastics in 21 states in our country, the ban has not actually been implemented on the ground in more than 2. And I think that is the gap between, again, you can make policy happen, but it is up to us citizens also to ensure that policy is implemented. So when it's not implemented, we need to keep asking why. Why not yet?
Absolutely. And I think as a young person,
but I think that it's young people really and their participation, especially in the last 2 years, that has brought about a significant shift in people's perception, in their understanding of environmental action and activism.
absolutely. I was saying as a young person, I think it's music to my ears when people are saying that, the future of our democracy and the future of our electoral outcomes should be determined by what choices are we making on ground and how involved are our communities in this fight against climate change. Dr. Wangchuk, there's a very interesting campaign that you started, which is called #ILiveSimply. And just to bring that into our conversation, why do you think it is important for young people to examine their relationship with the earth by becoming responsible and sustainable consumers? And really, what change have you seen in young people through this campaign? What sort of behavioral and how have they reached out to their communities? It'll be interesting to get those insights.
Well, it started with our concern about climate change, of which we are the front runners. We'll bear the brunt before others do, up in the mountains and down by the oceans. So up here, we are losing our glaciers. We get flash floods followed by droughts. So we've been working on artificial glaciers or ice stupas and so on. But after a point, we thought we might, find such solutions and get some awards and some name, but that's not going to solve our problem. No? Fixes like these are small fixes when we are talking about climate change. The solution doesn't really lie in mountains of Ladakh. It is way beyond in the big cities of the world, in the New Yorks and New Delhis, Bangalore's and Beijing's of the world. And there again, young people who will be tomorrow's citizens and influencers. So we said how to get the message across as an SOS call from the people who are bearing the brunt to them so that they can mend their ways and change their behaviors. Unlike the previous generation, at least the new generation might, hear our loud cries, which very soon might become theirs as well. So we said that not just mechanical fixes like solar heated buildings and ice stupas, we need to change behavior. And to change behavior, we need to approach young people in a fun way so it doesn't become like a lecture, a preachy lecture about a gloomy topic. So we said, why not make it into a fun crowdfunding campaign where you don't have to part with your dollars or rupees, which young people anyway don't have a lot of. So why not make them contribute with their pledges? So your pledges can amount to hundreds and thousands of dollars in terms of impact for nature. So you can pledge, for example, on this site, ilivesimply.org, you can pledge to give up as much as possible cars and go for cycling or walking, and take up, say, trains instead of aeroplanes, go vegetarian, or plant trees. These are things that any people can do whether they have money or not, but their actions actually mean a lot in real terms. It's not just a fun dollar we are talking about. When you plant a tree, it might have impact of $100 of work that you might have otherwise contributed to the planet. So similarly, if you change from aeroplanes to trains or cars to bicycles, and if billions of people do, then there won't be the reasons we are facing this crisis, and slowly the things will start getting in place. So this is a real contribution in a way. It might be just pledging this and the site equates it to certain number of dollars that your contribution comes to. But actually, if you ask me, it is bigger than dollars. Dollars can, plant a new tree, but a pledge can prevent a tree from being cut. So there's no comparison. So I really would like that young people, in whatever their ways or in this fun way of I Live Simply, somehow get across the message to their friends and circles, and make a lot of pledges, as we see a lot of earnest drive, honest, earnest drive in many young people of the new generation. I have great hopes that they will be better in their behavior towards the planet, towards the Mother Earth, than their parents' generation. And along the side, I always say jokingly that I want to be the biggest billionaire beyond, Bezos and Elon Musk, in my kind of dollars that actually matter.
I think you've solved this whole question of what can I do as an individual. I think this is how you go about making an individual contribution and really seeing it map out, in environment sustainability initiatives. So that's fantastic. And talking about campaigns, I'd like to bring in Ms. Mirza here. Ma'am, you lead a campaign which is called #Down to Earth with D. So why is making conversations around sustainability relatable, rooted, and fun important? And what kind of impact could you see after this campaign?
Well, I think that, it is, as advocates, it is so important for us to find creative ways to engage with people, and also find a way to draw in a population that is not necessarily clued in to, environmental action and sustainable living, in a manner where it doesn't feel tedious, and while, of course, there is a sincere effort to convey statistics and facts, and I think what happens is when two people are having a personal conversation about their personal experiences, it tends to kind of lead into a more a resonance that people can find in the conversation, and therefore perhaps implement change. I really feel that as an advocate, so many of my life choices have been defined by the work that I do as an advocate. It is as I learn and as I understand the issues that we are confronted by, I'm constantly seeking ways to bring changes, and I love to learn from people. So these conversations really are about learning. So if I've learned something from somebody, I love to share that with people, and with the hope that people will also learn and be inspired just the way I have been. So it is these conversations have been largely with young people, and of course I've spoken to some grown-ups, so some adults as well, but for the most part I've spoken to young people, and I've also spoken to people who are not necessarily only environmentalists. I've spoken with writers, filmmakers, singers, and homemakers, because I think environmental action can be done by everyone, and it's not necessary to only be a scientist or a botanist or a biologist to lead environmental action.
Absolutely, I think it's a very important point here about how we're shifting the focus from expert-centric conversation to people-centric conversation, and really giving the platform to people, for people to come up with ideas and share ideas about environment and sustainability. Really, we have a lot of champions here, and they would love to hear advice from you. They have started out their journey as change makers and leaders by participating in the TTC Championship. What would both of your advise our young people today? How can they scale up their solutions? How do they generate sustained impact? And more than anything else, how do they involve their communities in the work that they are doing? We can start with Mr. Wangchuk and then Ms. Mirza can come. Sir, I think you're on mute.
So, learning from my own journey of learning and solving problems, I would say they should work with three things that I call pillars of problem solving. One, learn a lot about all the issues and problems through curiosity. Stay curious and keep learning lifelong in or beyond schools and colleges. And secondly, empathy. Have the empathy to want to change and solve these challenges that we are all facing, and not just human beings, but feel for all the living beings and non-living beings on the planet. So empathy beyond curiosity, and not just stay till empathy alone, because that can be like a prayer without any action. So the third thing I would say is initiative. Initiative to make your first move, even if others are sitting on their hands. You take the initiative to take that first step, and you will see the whole world starts and joins you. So take initiatives, because initiatives, whether the result is good or bad, leaves us with a lot of experience. And when you have a lot of experience, you develop a lot of confidence. And when you have a lot of confidence, you're likely to succeed in environmental issues or anywhere, anything in your life, in your job. So always take initiatives, which means actions, and that gives you experience and confidence to finally succeed. And take people along, make it everybody's issue, not just yours, because ultimately you want results and not just a name or fame or something. So for results, you have to take along
Recording in progress.
That changes everything. Thank you.
Absolutely, sir. That's very valuable advice. Ms. Mirza, what is your advice for our champions here today?
I just want to congratulate all of them for making the initiative that they have. So they've started off with understanding of how grave the issue is, how vast the problem is. And they've also discovered that they can be a part of the solution, which is, I think, very empowering at an individual level. I think this is actually one of the first big steps in being the change that we want to see in the world. So the only advice that I would love was mine and everybody else's. And we need to do a lot of work to ensure that industries become responsible for the waste that they're creating. Households become responsible for the waste that we are generating, hospitals, schools, restaurants. So there's lots of work to be done. Continue to be tide turners in your everyday life, and don't leave the baton until we've won this very important fight.
Absolutely. So Dr. Wangchuk, Ms. Mirza, thank you so much from the team here. And also as a young person, I think we rely a lot on leaders like you, people who have inspired us, people who are allies in our fight against climate change. And thank you so much for participating in this discussion and for being so open and sharing your experiences and advice with our champions here today.
Thank you for having me. And congratulations to all the tide turners. Keep it up.
Yes, wonderful initiatives.
Srishti and Reed, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wangchuk and Dia, for sharing these motivational thoughts. You have created a wave of zeal among us all. It has been an honor to hear from you both. Thank you, Shreya, for facilitating this session.
Moving forward, Tide Turner Phase 3 was a huge success. बहुत सारे यूथ हमारे साथ जुड़े और बहुत ही इनोवेटिव, क्रिएटिव एंड इम्पैक्टफुल ऑन ग्राउंड और ऑनलाइन एक्टिविटीज के साथ चैंपियंस भी बने. So without any further ado, I will call upon our Tide Turners champions to share their stories and perspectives. And for moderating this session, I'd like to call Amreen Khan from WWF India. Over to you, Amreen and the champions.
Thank you, Shrishti and Reet. I hope I'm audible. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
All right. Good evening, everyone. In this session, we have three Tide Turner champions with us who have made exceptional contribution to generate awareness and take action to turn the tide on plastics. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Suresh Kumar Nagla. He's a principal and an Eco Club coordinator from Ansodar Public School, Amreli, Gujarat. He has been instrumental in engaging students in Tide Turner activities in addition to other environmental activities as the Tide Turner leader. So welcome to the panel. Next, we have Sania Thakur, a Tide Turner champion from Telangana. She's a 10th grade student from DPS, and she's on a mission to educate her peers on the issue of marine litter. Sania, we are happy to have you here. Next, we have Mansi Thakur from Gujarat. She's a student of geology and leads an environmental youth group with 100+ members. As a Tide Turner, she led an initiative of activating coastal communities for maintaining cleanliness on the banks of Bhavani Beach in Mahua and create a habitable environment for green sea turtles. Thank you, Sureshji, Sania, and Mansi for joining the panel. We'll be starting with our youngest champion today. Are you ready, Sania?
Yes.
Perfect. You are an inspiration to many students of your age. As a young champion, you created exciting educational worksheets, videos, and posters, and educated your friends and family about single-use plastics. You even started a recycling scheme for businesses. What was the most exciting part of your Tide Turner journey, and why?
The Tide Turners Challenge influenced and empowered me to take action to protect this planet Earth that is our home today and will always be. While taking the challenge online, we had different levels. Out of many, one was to develop a video to spread awareness, to turn our thoughts and actions into a digital asset. I made a video on plastic, and since I did make it, I shared it on different groups. Now the exciting part begins here. People saw the video and they even appreciated the effort. In the next few days, those 2 different garbage cans that every household in Telangana was provided with to separate their waste a few years ago by GHMC was now in sight again. I was so surprised to see effort of one person, the urge that's buried deep inside everyone's mind to protect planet Earth can be brought back.
That's truly inspiring, Sania. I'm sure the journey would not have been so easy, and working with people of your own age must have been challenging, but you didn't give up. That's the true leadership. So I will build on that to bring Mansi in conversation. So Mansi, after listening to Sania, do you agree that the Tide Turner Plastic Challenge has empowered many youth to create an impact? In what ways did you feel empowered after joining the challenge?
जी सबसे पहले तो मैं नताली मैम को बहुत थैंक्स कहना चाहती हूँ फॉर प्रेजिंग अवर वर्क एंड मोटिवेटिंग मी और हाँ मैं सानिया के साथ सहमत हूँ जिस तरीके से टाइड टर्नर ने हमारे कार्य की सराहना की है और हमारे प्रयासों को राष्ट्रीय धरातल पर एक पहचान दी है इससे निश्चित तौर पर हमारे अंदर एक नई ऊर्जा का संचार हुआ है और संस्कृत में जैसे सुभाषित है कि टुंडे टुंडे मतिर्भिन्न यानी कि दुनिया में सभी के विचार अलग अलग होते हैं ऐसे बहुत अलग अलग विचारों वाले लोगों को अपने ही साथ एक मंच पर जोड़ने का काम टाइड टर्नर प्लास्टिक चैलेंज ने किया है और जहाँ तक मेरी बात की जाए तो टाइड टर्नर के साथ जुड़ने के बाद मुझे प्लास्टिक को अपने रोजिंदा जीवन से किस तरह से उसको रिसाइकल और रीयूज किया जाए उससे विस्तार से मुझे जानकारी मिली है तो और आज ये जानकर एक मूवमेंट बनी है तो यस टाइड टर्नर ने मुझे बहुत तरीके से एम्पावर किया है और प्लास्टिक की इस जर्नी में हम अकेले नहीं हैं बहुत सारे लोग हैं और ऐसे लोगों को जोड़ने का काम भी टाइड टर्नर ने किया है
So that's amazing to hear, Nancy. I understand कि टाइट टर्नर चैलेंज ने लोगों के अंदर knowledge build की. It brought people together. People were able to take collective action, and आपका जो ये project है, it's a testimony of you on ground. So and whatever you were saying. कोस्टल कम्युनिटीज थी उन्हें क्लीन अप ड्राइव्स में एंगेज किया. आपने फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ थोड़ा लॉबी भी किया ताकि पॉलिसी चेंज वहां पर हो सके. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक, आपके हिसाब से व्हाट इज मोर इफेक्टिव, दूसरों को एजुकेट करना, इंस्पायर करना, या फिर खुद एक पर्सनल लेवल पे एक्शन लेना, या फिर just doing advocacy for change? What do you think is most effective?
जहाँ तक मेरा मानना है, इन तीनों में से कोई भी आसान नहीं है, पर अगर एक को पसंद करना चाहे तो मैं ये पसंद करना चाहूँगी कि व्यक्तिगत तौर पे ही इनिशिएटिव लिए जाए, क्योंकि ये पूरी तरह से मेरे कंट्रोल में है. तो मेरी टाइट टर्नर की जर्नी भी ऐसी है कि मैंने व्यक्तिगत तौर पे हमारी जो यहाँ पे बीच बहुत ही प्लास्टिक वहाँ पे कलेक्ट होता था, तो वहाँ पे एक इनिशिएटिव लिया कि हमने प्लास्टिक कलेक्ट करना स्टार्ट किया, और मेरे साथ हमारे ग्रुप एनवायरमेंट कंजर्वेशन यूथ क्लब के साथ मिलके लोग उसमें जुड़ते गए और एक मूवमेंट जैसे बन गई है प्लास्टिक के लिए. और आज हम देखते हैं कि बीच बहुत ही क्लीन हो चुका है, और वहाँ पे डॉल्फिन्स और ग्रीन सी टर्टल्स है, और फिर और माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स है, उनके लिए बहुत ही अच्छा एक वातावरण उनको मिल रहा है क्योंकि बीच काफ़ी क्लीन हो चुके हैं. तो इस तरह से हमारी जो मूवमेंट है और हमारा जो काम है वो ही खुद ही एक एडवोकेट कर रहा है हमारे ये प्लास्टिक की चैलेंज को. तो मेरे ख्याल से खुद ही व्यक्तिगत रूप पे हमें कार्य करना चाहिए.
Yeah, that's a very important point that you have made, Mansi. The change starts with me. The change starts with I. If I am making an effort, I know like my colleagues, my friends will come together. And जब हम एक ground level पे काम करना शुरू करते हैं, advocacy and policy change follows. Isn't it, Sania? Will you agree to that?
Definitely.
Yes. So with young champions like Mansi, so Sania, this question is for you. When you look at young champions like Mansi who are making great efforts to prevent marine pollution, so जैसा उन्होंने अभी share किया, she has personally collected waste from the coastal region of this Mahua, in the Mahua town, and वहाँ पे ghost fishing gears जो होते थे, they used to collect it. So when you see people like Mansi doing such cleanups and keeping our coast clean, how do you visualize our oceans 10 years from now?
My hope is that by 2031, we can all look back and say that in 2021, the actions taken by all, and especially by the Gen Z, has actually been successful in saving our oceans, our environment. The way the youth is now spiraling into an unstoppable rescue team to save their future home, hopefully with these continued efforts, our planet Earth and its oceans will be far better by 2031. In 2020, 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic waste was estimated to be in our oceans, the place where we get water from, the place that's home to a wide variety of marine flora and fauna. In 10 years from now, I hope that by all our actions, at least we can save half of our oceans and its marine wildlife.
That's very well said, thing, Mania. You would like to continue to set examples with your vision and efforts. If we all come together, Sania's vision of oceans in 10 years from now is definitely achievable. Thank you, Sania and Mansi. Suresh will bring him in conversation. Sureshji, congratulations, and thank you for providing an impact. जब आप मानसी एंड सानिया जैसे यंग स्टूडेंट्स को पर्यावरण के लिए काम करते देखते हैं तो कैसा महसूस होता है आपको?
जी, आई एम टोटली एग्री विथ हिम, क्योंकि ये तो करना ही जरूरी है, आज से करना जरूरी है और अभी से ही करना जरूरी है, उसमें देर क्यों? जो ये यंग जनरेशन है वही उसमें इन्वॉल्व होता है, तो उनके पीछे पीछे जो नई पीढ़ी तैयार हो रही है वो भी एक्सेप्ट करती है कि ये तो हमारी ड्यूटी है और आज यही करना ही है. जो आगे वाले लोग जो चल रहे हैं वो करते जा रहे हैं, तो उनके पीछे वाले भी ऐसा समझते हैं कि हमारी ये टोटली 100% वाली ड्यूटी होती है। तो मैं उनके साथ, 2 बहनों हैं उनके साथ पूरा सहमत हूँ और मैं उनको सपोर्ट भी करता हूँ कि ये काम अपने आप से आगे नहीं बढ़ाए, हम भी तुम्हारे साथ हैं, हम सब साथ लेकर चले और हम सब ये काम अवश्य पूरा करें और डेफिनेटली हम उसमें सक्सेस हो जाए।
Absolutely, सुरेश जी, you have been a true leader. आपके इको क्लब से लगभग 100 बच्चों ने बहुत एक्टिवली चैलेंज में भाग लिया एंड गांव में प्लास्टिक हटाने के लिए बैग्स भी बनाकर बांटे एंड गांव वालों को जागरूक भी किया। क्या आप बताना चाहेंगे कि आपने अपने छात्रों को टाइट टर्नर्स प्लास्टिक चैलेंज में शामिल होने के लिए किस बात ने प्रेरित किया?
जी। सबसे पहले तो हम हरित दिवाली, स्वस्थ दिवाली प्रोग्राम मनाने के लिए कई गलियों में जाते थे, घूमते थे और जो पुअर फैमिली होता है उनको हम स्वीट का पैकेट देते हैं कागज के लपेट कर और उनके साथ एक छोटा छोटा पौधा भी देते थे। इसीलिए हरित दिवाली, स्वस्थ दिवाली कोई भी फेस्टिवल होता है तो मनाने के लिए हम पुअर फैमिली के साथ जाते हैं, उन बच्चों के साथ यह त्योहार मनाते हैं। उसी समय कई गलियों में कई सारे प्लास्टिक के ढेर दिखते हैं, सब इधर उधर पवन के झोंके के साथ ये प्लास्टिक इधर उधर जाते हैं। उस बीच में ये 2 परिवारों के बीच झगड़ा होता है और झगड़े के कारण स्कूल पर आता है कि वो 2 परिवारों का जो छात्र होता है, स्टूडेंट होता है, उनको एक साथ बैठने भी नहीं देते पेरेंट, क्योंकि हमारे साथ तो झगड़ा हुआ, उनके साथ मत बोलो। तब हमने सोचा कि उनके लिए तो कुछ करना ही है और ये प्लास्टिक को हटाने के लिए, एनवायरनमेंट को क्लीन करने के लिए, आसपास का परिसर को सफाई करने के लिए हम कुछ तो ही करना पड़ेगा। तो यहाँ से हमारी सफल शुरू हुई और हम मंजिल पाने के लिए हमारा रास्ते आगे दिख रहे हैं और अवश्य हम जहाँ पर जाना है वहाँ श्योर डेफिनेटली हम वहाँ पहुंच जाए।
बहुत अच्छा लगा सुरेश जी जानकर कि आप एनवायरनमेंट के साथ साथ सोशल लोगों को सोशली भी पास में ला रहे हैं।
ये भी करते हैं कि जिन बच्चों की जो गली होती है, उनकी स्ट्रीट होती है, वह सबसे अच्छी क्लीन होती है तो उनको ग्रीन स्टार मिलता है एवरी सैटरडे। और जिन बच्चों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा ग्रीन स्टार मिला वो क्लास का चैंपियन होता है। और सारी स्कूल में जिन बच्चों को ग्रीन स्टार ज्यादा होता है वो स्कूल का चैंपियन होता है। और एवरी मंथ हम उनको, उनके पेरेंट को स्कूल पर बुलाकर उनका सम्मान करते हैं कि कौन है स्कूल का चैंपियन इस महीने का और कौन है क्लास का चैंपियन इस महीने का। तो पेरेंट्स को भी ऐसा लगा है कि हमारी गली है, हमारी स्ट्रीट है, वही डेफिनेटली क्लीन करना ही चाहिए और इसलिए हम सभी को मोटिवेटेड करते हैं।
सो सुरेश जी, बिफोर हम ये सेशन को कंक्लूड करें, मेरे पास आपके लास्ट है। चैलेंज के दौरान इको क्लब स्टूडेंट्स ने सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक्स के बारे में काफी जाना होगा, काफी एजुकेशन उन्हें मिली होगी इस बारे में एंड काफी एक्शन भी लिया है। व्हाट वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि उन्होंने अपनी स्ट्रीट साफ करी एंड दे हैव मेंटेन क्लीनलीनेस। क्या आप ऐसी कोई प्रभावित गतिविधि के बारे में बताना चाहेंगे जो कि थोड़ी सी और इनोवेटिव थी, जो आपने अपनी इको क्लब में नोटिस की?
जी। एवरी संडे हम कोई भी इलाके में
Okay, there's a technical glitch. We'll
wait. पैकिंग देते हैं तब सारे शॉपकीपर को क्या होता है, वो शर्मिंदा हो जाता है कि अरे छोटे छोटे बच्चे, प्राइमरी स्कूल के बच्चे हमें कागज का पैकिंग देते हैं और प्लास्टिक की मना करते हैं, तो हम ये तो पालना ही पड़ेगा। और सभी सारे गांव वालों को ईयर में 2 बार, वर्ष में दो बार हम इको फ्रेंडली बैग देते हैं हमारे स्कूल के ओर से। और जिन बच्चों का पेरेंट्स ज्यादा से ज्यादा उनका इस्तेमाल करते हैं वही बच्चे भी 15 अगस्त का चैंपियन होता है, 26 जनवरी का चैंपियन होता है। तो बच्चे भी सोचते हैं कि मामा तुम जब बाजार जाओ तो प्लास्टिक में किराया लेकर कोई सब्जी लेकर मत आओ, ये बैग लेकर जाओ और उनमें लेकर आओ। तो बच्चा उनको रिक्वेस्ट करता है क्योंकि हमें 15 अगस्त पर चैंपियन बनना होता है। तो यही है हमारी चैलेंज। और एवरी संडे हम जो ये प्रोग्राम करते हैं उनका सारे वीडियो हमारी यूट्यूब पर भी हम फॉलो करते हैं।
Thank you, Suresh ji. Suresh ji, you're truly an inspiration to all the educators who are watching this from across India. And so are you, Mansi and Sanya. We are sure you will continue to inspire others with your actions and keep turning the tide. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. With this, we come to an end of this moderated interview with our young champions. Shrishti and Reed, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambreen, for moderating the session. A big thank you to all the champions for sharing your Tide Turner journey. You all, along with the other young people in this program, did an amazing job, which will inspire others to act on the cause and create a positive change.
Yes, Reed. और क्या तुमको पता है कि 1000 से भी ज्यादा इको क्लब हमारे साथ जुड़े इस प्रोग्राम में, और टाइड टर्नर चैंपियन प्रोग्राम का हिस्सा बनने के साथ साथ उनके जो एनवायरमेंटल एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम्स है उनको और स्ट्रेंथन भी किया. So they created a significant impact in creating awareness, reducing plastic waste, developing essential partnership with the local recyclers, as well as inspiring the community to do the same on a very large scale, as recently shared by Suresh ji as well. It gives us immense pleasure to honor the top 20
It gives us immense pleasure to honor the top 20 eco clubs for taking their phenomenal work. They deserve all the appreciation and recognition
for working towards
the cause with the same determination throughout the pandemic. For this, I would like to call upon Dr. Susan George, Scientist E, Environment Education Division of MOEFCC. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all. It has been a pleasure to be a part of this initiative, and I congratulate all winners and we are proud of your achievements. I congratulate all SNAs, all Eco Club teachers, all students, and all the youth who have participated in this initiative. And I hope that this little one step that we have taken will encourage many more to join this battle against plastic pollution. Thank you all. Congratulations all.
धन्यवाद मैम हमारे इको क्लब्स को ऑनर करने के लिए फॉर ऑल देयर इम्पैक्टफुल वर्क. थैंक यू इको क्लब्स, आप सब ने बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाई है टाइड टर्नर्स को सक्सेसफुल बनाने में. यू ऑल प्लेड अ ह्यूज पार्ट इन द सक्सेस ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम. But the journey of the Tide Turner champion has not been a cakewalk. रास्ता आसान नहीं था. There was a lot of hard work put into to reach here. And for this, I would like to thank our key partners who provided all the support for the smooth sail.
So, the time we all have been waiting for is here. It's time to congratulate the young people of India who earned the title of Tide Turner champions, stepping over every obstacle they faced throughout their journey. To honor the Tide Turner champions 2021, I would like to call upon Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Principal Secretary, Government of Assam. Over to you, sir.
I hope I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
So, yeah, I hope I'm also visible. Am I
yes,
visible?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So I just joined a little, just some time back. And, let me say first and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the UNEP and also the host of today's function. It's indeed extremely heartening to know there are so many champions. And I would like to congratulate the Tide Turner champions to whom you're giving the awards today. It really is such a burning issue of environmental pollution. I just would like to say a few words before I sign off. I happen to also be in Telangana as the Director General of the Advocacy Corporation was doing something for peace segregation, etc. That was the planning that I did the last 5 years. In fact, not just that, but a lot of things in Telangana were done to the EBTR, the Environmental Protection Training Institute, which I was associated with. And let me say that in the policymakers there is not so much of awareness across the board in terms of all policymakers. Just the environmental bill and perhaps the Pollution Control Board and the Environmental Secretary really champions the cause of the environment. It just doesn't percolate to all the departments of the government, and that has its own impact. I happen to be in education now. We did really fight a lot because we understand that plastics not only has an impact on the environment in terms of pollution, because of the ingestion that we do or the ingestion that takes place in the sea and the marine animals, but it also has a great impact on climate change, because even producing the plastic blocks really consumes a lot of fossil fuel, and it becomes a leading reason for the fossil fuel consumption, and therefore it has a twin impact. One is in terms of the amount of pollution it creates, the damage that happens because of the pollution and because of the ingestion of this plastic, not only by us but by all the animals, by also the climate change impact it has. And finally, even getting rid of these plastics and when we incinerate them leads to the production of dioxin. So the reason, therefore, all the state governments today are trying to ban single-use plastic is because of this multifold impact that plastics have on our way of existence. And therefore, to really make this happen, to bring in these champions together is a great effort. Now, in the government of Assam, we have taken some steps. You must have heard of the Akshar model of Assam, where we are asking poor children to bring plastic waste as fees, and then we teach them. We also teach the children how to use the plastics in terms of making them into, say, eco breaks or things which are reusable and make some money, and therefore, bring out the plastic waste which is there and make it into something that can be reused, sold, and made into an economic activity, by which children learn some vocational activity. So that's one model. In fact, we are expanding this model towards many more schools across the state of Assam. We did an experiment last year. The Akshar schools, of course, were recognized across the world, both by BBC, Guardian, etc. And we hope to bring in this knowledge of what is the impact of pollution, especially by plastics, in all the schools of Assam. And I'm very happy to be associated and see the manner in which all the children have come up with brilliant ideas. And therefore, thank you very much. And I wish all that this movement and momentum continues, and would like to be associated as a part of the government of Assam with this initiative. Thank you very much. And of course, I see Atul Bagai sir there. And thank you, sir, for inviting me, and Gayatri ma'am for telling me about this particular program. So we really, in the government of Assam, of course, I must say that the government of Assam is on a roll. In the last 2 months, we have a change in government, and therefore we've not been able to speak, but environment is such a key subject. And therefore, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Atul Bagai sir for giving me this opportunity to be associated with UNEP. And as I would know, 3-4 cabinet members every week. There's so many changes we are doing in the field of education. So we hope to start with you, sir, and be associated with you, as I said, sir. And sorry for the delays, but it's such a critical part of education.
Inshallah.
I hope to start in schools. Yes, sir.
Congratulations, champions, for your incredible work. And thank you, Mr. Chakravarti, for your presence. Remember the surprise message we told you all about? Now we have an encouraging message from Mr. Sanjay Bansode, Minister of State for Environment, Water Supply and Sanitation, Maharashtra. I request Madhvi ma'am to read out the message and translate it for us.
Thank you, Reed. Am I audible to everybody? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sanjay Bansode sent this message, which is in Marathi, and I will read it out to you. महाराष्ट्र राज्य नैसर्गिक सौंदर्य सृष्टीने नटलेले आहे. या महान राज्यात सह्याद्री पर्वतरांग आहे, ताडोबा अभयारण्य आहे. आपल्याला सुमारे 720 किलोमीटर लांबीचा समुद्र किनारा लाभलेला आहे. या सगळ्याचं जतन करण्यास आपल्याला सगळ्यांची जबाबदारी आहे. महाराष्ट्र सरकार पर्यावरण रक्षण व संवर्धन करण्यासाठी नेहमी तत्पर असणार आहे. आपल्या राज्याने पर्यावरण रक्षणाच्या दृष्टीने देशात सर्वप्रथम माझी वसुंधरा अभियान या गेल्या वर्षी सुरू केले व त्याला नागरिकांचा उदंड प्रतिसाद मिळत आहे. वातावरण बदल हे एक जागतिक संकट आहे. त्यावर मात करण्यासाठी शासन व नागरिक यांना एकत्रितपणे काम करणे अत्यंत आवश्यक आहे. या जागतिक तापमान वाढ रोखण्याच्या लढाईत सर्वात महत्त्वाची भूमिका कोण बजावणार असतील तर ते आजचे तरुणी. त्यांच्याच तर भविष्यात विशेषतः तरुणांसाठी अवघड होता. आपण सगळेच आपापल्या घरी अडकून पडलो होतो, पण टाईट टर्नर्स चॅलेंजमुळे असंख्य तरुणांना घरातून इतर मुलांबरोबर ऑनलाईन काम करून पर्यावरण रक्षणासाठी योगदान देता आलं. महाराष्ट्रात सरकारी शाळांमधून जवळपास 9,300 मुला-मुलींनी व 188 इको क्लब्सनी या उपक्रमात भाग घेतला. याचा मला सार्थ अभिमान आहे. भाग घेतलेल्या मुलांची कहाणी खरंच खूप प्रेरणादायी आहे. तसेच महाराष्ट्रातील इको क्लब्सचा समावेश भारतातील टॉप 20 मध्ये होतो याचाही मला फार अभिमान वाटतो. तरुणांना अशा प्रकारच्या संधी उपलब्ध करून देणं अतिशय महत्त्वाचं आहे. तरुणांना जागतिक पातळीवर पर्यावरण रक्षणाचं महत्त्व समजावं व त्यासाठी त्यांना व्यासपीठ निर्माण करून देणं गरजेचं आहे. आज या माध्यमातून मी घोषणा करतो की टाईट टर्नर्स चॅलेंजच्या पुढच्या उपक्रमात महाराष्ट्रातील सर्व शैक्षणिक संस्था भाग घेतील, यासाठी प्रयत्न केले जातील व मुलांना प्रोत्साहन दिले जाईल. आमची अशी आशा आहे की महाराष्ट्रातील प्रत्येक शिक्षण संस्था व इको क्लब यामध्ये भाग घेतील व छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराजांनी आपल्याला दिलेला पर्यावरण रक्षणाचा संदेश आपण पुढे घेऊन जाऊ. मला खात्री आहे पुढच्या वेळेस महाराष्ट्र टाईट टर्नर्स चॅलेंज चॅम्पियन नक्कीच बनेल. Now the quick translation in English, what the message is. He says, Maharashtra is blessed with natural beauty. It has the Sahyadri mountain ranges, Tadoba Sanctuary, a 720 kilometers long coastline. We all have the responsibility to conserve and protect these valuable natural resources. The government of Maharashtra is always ready for environmental protection and conservation measures. The state initiated Maji Vasundhara, which means My Earth, campaign last year, which has received a wonderful response from citizens. Climate change is a global challenge and it is critical for the government and citizens both to jointly work towards overcoming it. Today's youth have an important role in the efforts to combat increasing impact of climate change. It is their future for which we are taking action. And youth have been taking a lead in environmental conservation. Corona and its impact has been hard on everyone, especially youth. We were all stuck inside. I feel very proud that around 9,300 students from government schools and 188 eco clubs in Maharashtra participated in this initiative. The stories of the participants are really very inspiring, and that eco clubs from Maharashtra are among the top 20 in India is a matter of pride for me. It is important to provide such opportunities to youth and platforms for developing their understanding of environmental conservation in the global context. Today at this event, I announce that all education institutions in Maharashtra will be involved in the next phase of the Tide Turners Challenge. And all efforts will be made for this, and youth will be encouraged to participate. We hope that every education institute and eco club in Maharashtra will participate, and we take forward the message of environmental conservation given by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. I am certain that next time Maharashtra will be the champion of the Tide Turners Challenge. This is the message from Shri Sanjay Bansode, Minister of State for Environment and Climate Change, Government of Maharashtra. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us, for translating us such an inspiring message. And we are grateful that Mr. Bansode was able to give that time to us, and at least with a message from him for Maharashtra taking up the challenge in the next phase. And with this message, we are almost towards the end of the event. And now, to conclude, I would like to call upon Ms. Preeti Kanojia to cast a vote of thanks as well as brief us on the way forward. Ma'am, please welcome to the event, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Shrishti. I hope I'm audible. This event, what I attended, is like really inspirational and gives me a lot of hope that yes, we are yet in the challenging times, but there is a lot of hope that we can bring a lot of difference with the like coming together and converting this campaign into a tide. So this Tide Turner Challenge has demonstrated the power of youth to influence change in their own environment, but by walking the talk and taking up the leadership roles, youth are at the forefront. So that is very, very clear in this particular event. We could see the outcomes we see today from the Tide Turner Challenge have been possible due to the active involvement of our youth from a thank you to all of you, the youth of our country. The National Summit works for pitching in and getting a large number of youth involved in this campaign. Collaboration is the key to creating a big impact and also new beginnings. We would like to thank the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for partnering with the Tide Turners Challenge this year. Through the National Green Corps state nodal agencies, along with the eco clubs, teachers, and students from across India have been able to participate and demonstrate handprint action at their home and in the community. We look forward to continued partnership and involvement of the eco clubs in future. Thank you to Ms. Suzanne George of the MOEFCC for your support during the challenge, and also Ms. Rita Khanna from the ministry for your joining us today, as we are acknowledging the efforts of our youth. With this, I would like to thank a wonderful message sent by Sri Sanjay Bansode, Minister of State for Environment, Water Supply and Sanitation, Government of Maharashtra. We thank him for his special message and very encouraging message that this campaign is going a long way. My thanks to Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Secretary Education, Government of Assam, for honoring the Tide Turner Champions 2021. We would also like to thank Mr. Natalie Toms, British High Commission, for being here with us and extending support to this challenge. Thank you to Mr. Sam Barrett and Mr. Atul Bagai from UNEP for leading and guiding the Tide Turner Challenge. Special thanks to Mr. Gayatri Raghava for your unstinted belief and encouragement and always being there during this campaign. We are honored by the presence of luminaries who were doing path-breaking work and continue to inspire us, Dr. Sonam Wangchuk and Ms. Diya Mirza. We would like to thank you for inspiring our participants with your work and your words today. We thank our young environmental crusaders and heroes, Shashank Bhosle, Malhar Kamble, for sharing their stories' impact through their experience. That was wonderful interaction, stories we heard today. We thank you. We thank our Tide Turner champions, from Benny Dayal. We thank him for and really appreciate his message given to the Tide Turner champions. And the campaign needed a concerted and coordinated teamwork. So I would like to acknowledge all the team members who were part of this making this entire campaign successful. So beginning from, I'll start with Sam, Siri, Brian, Atulji, Gayatri of UNEP, Nairobi and India, Radhika, Ambareen, Ashish, Reet of WWF India, Kartika Bhai, Madhaviben, Shrishti, Deep, Arzu, Mansi, Deepika, Jogender, Jairaj from CE team, and Ashish Dayal and the team of Sapphire IT Solution for website development, management, ongoing technical support, and everyone associated with this initiative. Thanks once again to everyone for joining the event today. Have a lovely evening. See you in the phase 4 of the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Preeti ma'am. And we look forward to the next phase of the program with even more enthusiasm, creativity, and determination from the youth. हमें और बुलंद हौसलों के साथ आगे बढ़ना है और पर्यावरण का संरक्षण करना है.
It has been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals. Thank you everyone for making the Tide Turners Phase 3 an absolute success, and we hope you all enjoyed today. On behalf of UNEP, MOEFCC, WWF India, and CE, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all our participants for attending and making our summit a roaring success. I would also like to thank the team of Tide Turners for making the summit a one-of-a-kind event. Keep taking action to turn the tide on plastic till we meet again. Hope you all stay healthy and safe. Goodbye to all.
And especially single-use plastics. Bye everyone. We are signing off.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Hi everyone, this meeting has been brought to its end. Now it will be closed. Thank you.